So if they close off that main road in the Stockyards, we can't really even see that. Then you have to go this way, which is the back way. If you go to the left, way back there by Spaghetti Warehouse over that way, you have to go back behind all the Stockyard stuff, maybe over there by the bank, and then go through there. Other than that, you wouldn't be getting in. At least you go down this direction, which I don't know how bad it is in that direction. That direction I'm not real familiar with, but I think it's the highway direction. If you go completely straight, I don't even know. And there's a horse trail. You might as well have a horse. You probably get around better on a moped than anything else. Okay. All right, we're gonna try. Yeah, it's just gonna be congested. It can get that way. And a lot of times they close that main, whatever you call that road. It's Stock Exchange Road, but it's like I guess the main road on north side. It's the cross by H Ranch. They'll close that to get in. They put cones up all the time, so it's like only horses can cross or only people, and then all of a sudden you can go down that way. But it's all done in one direction. It goes around in a circle. Alien Boy is the name. Oliver. Fahrenheit, 7,205 miles on the odometer. It's a Saturday, December 7th, 2024. Welcome back to the Please Subscribe Show. This is the rainy edition. I'm trying to think. Don't know if I had a big vlog beforehand. I already sent up the isolated vlog about high school theater and college drama at the Actor Studio Drama School, which I don't really talk a lot about what went on for that 1 year at the MFA program at the New School University. Other than the fact that Bruce Willis was interviewed on Monday by James Lipton's Bravo Inside the Actor Studio, and Tuesday it was the end of the world. September 11th happened, and I always I don't blame Bruce Willis, but it makes me think, who is this Bruce Willis guy? Because the next day, Die Hard for New York. I don't know, man. It's very creepy. But I stayed for the rest of that year until summer of 2002. And then I came back, and I've been here off and on. I lived in Maine for about 17 months. Been here for, 2002. So if I skip Maine, that's 20 years. 2002, 2000, 20 years. Here's the butterfly. Yeah, 2002, I would have been back here, and then I went to Maine for 17 months, lived in Guilford. Well, I lived in Parkman, Guilford, and Dover, Foxcroft. So that was for 17 months, and then I came back here. Yeah, never returned back to California. I went one time, 2000, December. I landed in December of 2000. And into an apartment, Paradise Gardens. And then it turned 2001 when I was there. And then I was in New York by September. So it was like December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. Almost 10 months in California. And then right to New York, which was another almost 10 months there in New York, about 9.5 months or so in New York. So it was like New York, it would be like August or around September, like end of August. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, 9 months in New York. Then back here, and then Maine for 17 months. So Maine, I left here, drove a Rio, Kia Rio, which kind of like scooted around the ice in Maine. So I arrived in Maine before the Mayan calendar ended. So, well, it was 2000 and going into 2012. So I left here in 2011 of December. It turned 2012 that January in Maine, and I was in Parkman. I stayed 17 months. So you go back around to 2013, right? February, March, April, May. Was it May? Let's see. January, it's been January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, it was late May that I met my second wife here in Texas. 17 months later, and then started a family over a period of 4.5 years. But then separated and divorced pretty quickly after March 9th, 2019. Time goes like, you know. So 20 years is a long time. Attempted many different books. So books are tough. Novels are very difficult. I think personally, my own opinion, to be honest, is screenplays are harder. It's my own opinion in the actual craft of it, because you have to know the whole construction of how things happen on set. You don't have to, but you'd be better at it as screenplay writer once you've seen one go. When you see something go down, like a movie, then you start to become a better screenplay writer. All right, 1.5, 5:33 p.m. Yesterday we did about that amount.
I never really had a problem, 'cause I'm leaving. But everything reminds me.
Oops. I forgot about this one. Oh boy. Yeah, that's horrible right there. Can't see it. Yeah, you can see it right there maybe. But it's like a big pond. Big time ponding. Big ponding issue right back there. You can't really mark it on the Kia thing. Not that I know of. You might can. I just haven't figured it out yet. See, there's a menu. Nearby info. Display traffic info. Oh. So you can have display on or off on traffic. Oh yeah, this gets GPS. They're constantly updating. Nearby POI, whatever that is. Oh, okay. POI. Point of interest, maybe. And then you've got menu, nearby, categories, gas stations, cafes, fast food, restaurant, convenience store, hospitals, police stations, community, roadside assistance, pharmacies, banks, cafes, park, ATMs, huh? Or on this one, if it goes, it tells you like, oh yeah, it tells you all the different branches. So they can keep it updated. I know some things change a little bit. What is this thing right here? This is a waypoint design. So let's say you're like, where do you want to go? And then they're like, right here where this park is. Then you can add the destination, add waypoint. It's kind of cool, that one is. But there's a lot of features that are a little different. So I do keep the other one up, which is Google Maps. And then, you know, in a blue moon, I'll use the Apple. That's the one that stays on the phone. But Apple's a little sticky sometimes. So like if you're, and that's security reasons. So if you're going somewhere and something happens, I don't know, you put the phone down and you pick it back up, you got to put the code back in just to get back to the GPS. So it can lock on you and you're like, whoa, what in the world? And then you put the GPS back in. That's usually if it's put down and then put back up or turned off. It's the same as entering any other security app, because destination is a security too. Ooh, got a little Christine kind of thing. A little flashback to the 50s. I don't know if that's Christine, but it's definitely in the family of that year, probably. That's definitely a classic car. It kind of reminds me of Christine a little bit. Look at it. I don't know. I have to go back and watch Christine. I know John Travolta's in Carrie. That was the one he was going to throw away until Tabitha got hold of it and said, okay, let's give it a try. All right, so if we're headed northwest, which is the same as west, and oddballs are on the left, which would be, can't really see it. Yeah, it'd be over this direction. Yep, it's that one right there. Oddballs northwest, oddballs are on the left. Oddball numbers. Oddball. Say oddball. Oddball. To sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. Whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, or whether the weather, whatever the weather, that's really hard. Whether the weather be cold or whether the weather be hot, or whether the weather, whatever the weather, whether we like it or not. Thackeray. Is and isn't correct. So there's a wrong address given out. So it's actually this one because all right, 5.7, 5:57 p.m. All right, so information on RIB, which also stands for Revolutionary Independence Branch. So it's a revolutionary independent branch. It's a branch from another militia that's unknown. But the novel, which is RIB or Dog Night Out, what you find out is that with RIB, none of them have military connections, but possibly Shep. And Shep is the administrative leave cop that we don't know why he left. No one knows why he was put on administrative leave. Now, that's Shepard Dwight East. Now, the Lone Star Hacker may be connected as well. And no one knows who that is. And that's when I was thinking about Bradley Cooper, or possibly who could play him is Edward Norton, one of the two. I think they'd both be good for it. But anyway, that's how that goes down at the beginning stages of this whole saga, novel, whatever you want to call it. Right now it's novella form, but it's also in vlog form. But RIB found itself pretty much through the Spiritus Mundi. So did Shroom. Miss Shroom was a misprint on the word shroom. Then I found out Miss Shroom is the girlfriend of Droopy, who also is in Alaska. She was an animal trainer. She had a little problem with alcohol. Well, pretty big problem with alcohol. And I was thinking, I always like Anna Paquin. I thought she was good. I thought she did good in The Glory of Living. I thought she was really good. But she knows Droopy, and then the circus bear somewhere is tied in there, okay? So whether Jed has already met Miss Shroom, I don't know. Maybe. But he definitely knows about the circus bear. Because he releases a circus bear on was it Droopy? Yeah, on Droopy for training. So he basically gives Droopy, and then we're going to work on this. So he gives Droopy a canister of bear spray and probably a thermal overall suit with some decent boots. He's not really cruel. He's not going to give him like tennis shoes, but he could. But he'd probably just give him some like thermal boots, thermal overall, you know. And it's like, now it's time to get used to the cold. So he throws the bear spray over to him. He probably walks off first and turns around and says, "Oh yeah, you're gonna need this." And he throws it. And he's like, "What is it?" "It's bear spray. Pull the pin before you use it." There'll be that kind of dialogue. Then he starts walking. He tells him to walk towards the sun. So see the sun setting? Just like the evangelist in John Bunyan's story, Pilgrim's Progress. He says, "Son, just keep walking that way, all right?" And he turns around and walks away from him. And remember, like, Jed learned pretty much everything from the dwarf. So he's not like super military branch or anything, but he's probably had some friends or something that may have been part of it. He's always been kind of a stoner. I was thinking Brad Pitt when I write it. It doesn't mean that that's who's going to take the role. I do that for organization purposes only. But I did make a cast option thing because that helps me find characters too. There's different ways to find characters because we know these other characters that play these scenarios, and you can play with them that way. People can do that. You can use them like chess pieces. But Pitt, you know, he'd turn around, he would say, "Catch," and then he would catch it. He's like, "What?" And then Droopy's like, "What is this?" And that'd be like maybe Post Malone or something. I was also thinking about a friend too named Charlie Baker who was in El Camino, played Skinny Pete. But he's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's bear spray." And he's like, you know, "Pull the pin before you know. And so the bear's released at that point. He might have like a garage door opener looking thing, and he hits it like that, and this cage opens up and the bear comes out. That's probably a circus bear. Now that bear probably is connected to the circus, but he's also a trained bear, and he'd follow Droopy. So what's his name? Jed gets into the van and just starts kind of spying on him. It's probably like a it probably, like, this is kind of like, it's kind of A-Team a little bit, but not really that corny. So the van, he goes over back to his van, and you get the idea that these guys are like big militia, kind of crazy. So he goes to the van, and he goes in the back, and he grabs this white tarp. It's like a white netting tarp. He throws it over the van so the bear won't see him and no one else will see him. But he can see through he can see through the tarp with these like high power binoculars. Maybe even thermal if it happens at night. We'll have to find out if it happens at night. It might happen at night, which is even worse because he's teaching him how to live in the dark. You know what? I think I will take a little bit from Keitel. So he'll walk up to Droopy and he'll say, "All right, now I'm going to teach you how to live in the dark." And Droopy's like, "Okay." He's like, "You see that star way over there?" Which is basically like the dog star. "See that star? That's called the dog star." Like that. He's like, "Okay. You just keep walking towards that star and stay straight. Don't veer the path. That way I'll be able to find you later. Much later." He's like, "How much later?" "Depends on how fast you walk. This is endurance training." Then he turns around, he starts to walk off. He goes, "Hey, can you see this? Catch." And he throws this bear spray canister at him that's probably has a little glow tape on it. You can see it flying over at him. He lands at his feet, or whatever. He catches it. Depends on how it goes. And he's like, "What is this?" He's like, "Bear spray. Pull the pin before you use it." Or pull the pin before the trigger, or something like that. Yeah, it has to be exact. Pull the pin before the trigger on the bear spray. That's when he hits the button, and then you see it cuts to the cage opening, and the bear comes out. The bear has like a little bell on or something. So then he goes walking back to, Casa Mañana is doing the color purple next, but the first thing they're going to do is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. It'll open on December 23rd. All right. So the next thing that he does is he gets back into his van, throws the netting over. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's at dawn. Okay, yeah. Well, there's dusk and there's dawn. The morning time. So it's real early in the morning. That's what it is. Yeah, because they got up real early because that's what they do. So they got up really early in the morning, and then you see the sun coming up later on. So you can see the star before the morning. Especially Alaska, it's all weird. It stays dark for a long time, like 30 days of darkness and stuff. So we'd have to figure all that out. But you can still see the star just as much as you can see the sun on the horizon. So it's kind of dark. It's in twilight. Let's just put it that way. I kind of like that idea that it's dark. It's either going to be dark or it's going to be twilight, one of the two, especially if it's Alaska. So we'll have to find out, because the sun does rise and set. It does. There's times it rises and sets. I saw a thing on it on YouTube. Probably in that time when the sun rises and sets. But regardless, he still can look through a thermal scope to see him better. And he also can throw the netting over the van too, because even in twilight you can see that. So that you get the idea that he's camouflaging the GMC van. Then you get the idea that he's gone from pothead Jed to kind of like almost like 007 kind of cool guy, you know, but like militant, like Bad Company. Have you ever played the video game Bad Company? That's kind of the idea a little bit, but not military. So he's not military, but he's like special militia agent. So he's looking through the binoculars, and he's watching him, and the bear is on his way. He's kind of giggling. Maybe he's eating popcorn, or maybe he's just waiting. Maybe not giggling, but I don't know if he's videoing it really. He's probably just watching it. I don't think they're like a lot of vloggers. The only vlogger is the dwarf, because he has his own channel. Everybody else is pretty much just used to be a bum, right? They used to be lame-o, and then they got put into the militia. Finally, the bear gets a little too close, so he takes, now I could change it to a pepper gun thing, which is kind of cooler, where it shoots like pepper, like a pepper bullet kind of thing. But I'm not for sure. Maybe we'll just do bear spray only. So he sprays the bear spray, goes spraying all over the place. Maybe it gets in his eyes, maybe on accident a little bit. It sprays, and then all of a sudden Droopy starts running, like taking off running from the bear. You're not supposed to do that. You don't want to run from a bear. You want to face the bear and make loud noises, and then draw your hands out really wide to make yourself look bigger. That usually sometimes works. Regardless, he goes running, which he shouldn't, and he runs towards the river that's frozen over. There's a river nearby. Probably it's the Xana River, maybe, if they're over in that area, because that area is very remote. It's a very dangerous area. That's where the Magic Bus used to be. Bus 142 or something like that. Anyway, one of the buses. So he goes running. He gets across halfway of the river, and it cracks, and he goes falling in. Jed notices it, because Jed's got to keep an eye on him because he's a trainer. Jed's got to come to his rescue and pulls him out. Then eventually, somewhere down the line, we'll meet Miss Shroom. That's her nickname. It's her code name too. All right, and then the whole purpose of Dog Night Out is it leads to like this revolutionary kind of thing. So there's a little bit of Civil War in there too.